It's a fat blunt.
Yeah, that's a two tap. Mistakes were made. What is Warzone without a broken Dragon's Breath shotgun? As of right now, there are two really good ones. So Warzone is just broken beyond the DMR meta that we currently have right now. So close quarter engagements, do not expect to win any fight unless you have the shotgun. In today's gameplay, you guys will see how it runs on big map and small. And then if you guys want the class, say it's in the video. I need some plays. I'm bleeding out.
You're losing ground. Move it.
Oh,
Oh, there's somebody above me.
there's so many people up there. Down two up
What,
there.
above me? Or above you guys?
Building.
Your squad made it to the safe
There we go. I
zone.
got some plays.
No, pero es que este mamá huevo tiene 2 horas cayendo, pues. 2 horas. Increíble, marico.
Increíble.
No, ya vete para el coño, ya tienes como 5 ahí, huevo.
Where's this guy at?
Dude, he's right, getting the res off. No!
No, tenías que
I
llegar
have
conmigo
3
para
down
matar,
over there.
marico.
3.
I got a
If they
thirst.
survive, they redeploy.
I got a thirst for you, man. It ain't all bad, you know? Yeah, mistakes were made. 'Cause you need to do that.
I got my others. One of my other kills.
He's right. Ah, bet. Yeah. Way to hold it down for the boys that can't be there. Comes back down. Good fight. Good fight.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Gas is...
Gulag token. Give me that. Should have hit that zip, low key. I mean, fuck, it's a buy out here. I'm gonna go to this buy.
Pop a UAV too. Where's that counter at? There's a mosquito drone in the sky too. Damn!
How do you know I was there?
How did you know I was there?
He's one shot. He's there's like 3 of them over there.
Yeah, it is.
Where y'all looking at?
The loadout.
Are they inside the gas station?
No one went around. What are you doing right there? Oh! Hey, right in front of me. I got one down to the left, past the tree,
Squad's in the safe zone.
and then the other guy's across. I might be going for the res across right now. Yes, he did.
Got him.
Stained me.
I sent like 3 drones at the nigga.
Yeah, we have so much money. Might as well pop in advance.
Copy.
Adam.
UAV is on station. Recon online.
I'll drive over there. I can.
Be advised, UAV is exiting the AO.
Did you kill him? Oh, he pushed out. Damn.
He did.
I should just full send. This is a gulag token right here.
We getting shot at from across the way.
Thought we had an advanced up. What the hell happened?
Man, some people so damn greedy.
Oh.
They want it all. Damn, man
Yeah,
had
no.
10 kills and he's like, man, you get that one. That's wild.
I'm about to call my UAV.
Are y'all lagging?
Gas
No.
is inbound. Marking a new safe zone.
Lagging so bad.
UAV online and
Is
over
that
the
here? Just
AO.
go out. I just got sniped. I need someone's help. Wow. Well, there's a redeploy zone on my body. That's crazy. I was lagging. He sniped me from across the bridge.
Your squad mate was sent to the gulag. They'll fight for a chance to redeploy.
Building this house, that one.
Be advised, UAV is exiting the AO.
Bro.
I'm lagging.
Squad mate is sent to the gulag.
Oh my
They'll need to
god. Oh, hey, Tamika, gratis. Redeploy back.
He's pushing y'all. They're gonna push. You're getting pushed. Come up the stairs.
Trying to plate up.
Ah, what the fuck?
They're going for the res on this guy.
What the fuck they not?
Came with that fire.
Another gulag token, I'll take it. Damn, they really sent us like that. Wow.
God damn, Dimitri's just checking every goddamn thing on the floor. Pop a UAV too.
What
Where's
did the
that
one do?
counter at?
Be online.
Nah, right in front.
Nobody.
Oh, it'll section it
audio
out
in this
like
game.
that.
Target down. Marking the rest of them.
Meet your next pillow. Why do we make our pillow in the shape of a cube? I'll tell you. The problem with pillows is that you're trying to fit a round peg into a square hole, or rather a pillow-shaped peg into a shoulder-shaped hole. This is Sydney.
Hello.
Look at the space between her head and her shoulder. It's a square. None of these rounded pillows are going to fit that space perfectly. They're going to cause her to bend her neck, flop her body, and twist her back out of alignment. What Sydney needs is a pillow that properly supports her neck and keeps her spine in alignment. Hence, the pillow cube. The ancient Egyptians knew this. Pharaohs used this headrest. The Japanese used these pillow boxes. They offered great support, but were they comfortable? Alex, is that comfortable?
No.
So we decided to modernize their invention.
The Pillow Cube Pro is made to fill that shoulder gap, optimized for support, comfort, and cooling. You can roll from side to side for uninterrupted side sleeping. Want to go old school? Try the original Pillow Cube.
And it's not just a great pillow for sleeping. Try it out on the airplane. Use it for office naps or as a yoga support. It's also a great meditation seat. It provides excellent lumbar support. Timber! And it's the perfect pillow for spooning. So stop wasting all your money on these fancy new mattresses and get the pillow that will support your noggin.
Whether you want the ultimate bed experience with the Pillow Cube Pro or the travel-friendly original Pillow Cube, we give you our Pillow Cube guarantee that your shoulder gap will be filled, your spine will be aligned, and you will always dream of tacos.
Today we're focusing on the best settings for Modern Warfare 3's multiplayer, zombies, and Warzone Urzikstan. One thing to keep in mind is that if you do load into a different option, you may have to set up the settings again for the entire mode. And if you go into the settings, you can kind of see how the outline of these individual menus look. When we go ahead and switch over to Warzone, they look a little bit different. They're not like that grayed out. They're almost a little bit more transparent. So if you notice that maybe something feels a little bit off, make sure that you're putting the settings for all of the different game modes. So as we jump into the setting, I want to give you a heads up that I watched like 14 different videos on how to optimize the settings to best suit my individual setup, and keeping in mind that everyone is going to have different setups, and part of that is going to lead to slightly different settings depending on how overpowered your computer actually is. I'm currently running a 3080, which some people is going to say dated. I should have a 40, whatever. At the end of the day, it still gets the job done. If you have anything better or worse, it's okay. You can kind of tune your settings to best suit your needs. I do play at a 1440p resolution. That is my monitor. It goes up to 240 refresh rate. I don't really generally get that unless I'm playing multiplayer. On the Battle Royale or Zombies, I'm going to get probably around 150 to 180, depending on what part of the map I'm in. It can fluctuate quite a bit, but in general, it's a pretty consistent frame rate. In terms of brightness, I moved it up a little bit. Some will say 55, some will say 60, or just leave it at default 50. I've bumped it up to 53. So a lot of these settings you will be able to just copy through, and then I'm going to give you a guide on how to figure it out for yourself if you do want to, after the fact, go and change some of the individual settings. Overall, the NVIDIA Reflex Low Latency is going to be dependent on whether or not your GPU or your CPU is bottlenecking you. In my particular case, the GPU is bottlenecking it a little bit, so I have it on. If there was the CPU bottlenecking it, you can actually switch it to on plus boost. So it will depend based off which one's doing that, and you can't really find out in the menus. It'll be in game. So right now at the top, you can see my GPU time is 4 milliseconds, which is better than the CPU time, but in game they swap. That's why I have it on so that it can actually help out on the GPU side. At least that's my understanding of how that system works. Efficiency, it doesn't really matter. You can go ahead and put this to custom. This actually has pretty much no impact on that individual settings when it comes to frame rate or how the game's going to look. VSync gameplay, you could turn that off. VSync menus doesn't really matter. Custom frame rate, you can do unlimited. Focus mode 90, doesn't really matter. And then we got high dynamic range, we have off. That's our first page when it comes to display. Quality is where it gets a little bit more nuanced, really depending on the build and how ugly or good you want your game to look, and whether it's worth sacrificing an extreme amount of frames for a marginal difference, or you can lower it to get extreme boost for a marginal difference in how it looks. So you're not really negatively impacted on the ugly side. Is it going to look ugly, but you get like 1 frame better? Or vice versa. You kind of got to figure out and pick and choose some of the things. I use dynamic resolution off. My resolution is exactly what my monitor is. And then I have upscaling sharpening. There's a lot of these great tools. At the end of the day, the one that I've been using for a very long time, and I think that the majority of people should generally use, is the Fidelity FX Cast. This will help with a little bit of sharpness, and it doesn't have an extreme impact on your frames, and it makes your game look way better. You can go ahead and put this between 40 up to about 90. Sometimes for me, when you put it a little too high, I don't like the sharpness when you have the sharpness too high. So I generally only keep that between 40 and 60 for my own personal preference. The ray tracing path reconstruction, I have that off. VRAM scale, if you have the top of the line, you can go ahead and raise this, but this lowering this can actually help with some of the stuttering. So that's why I kind of have it right around 65. If you put it at 70 and you notice still more stuttering on some things, try lower, 65, 60, and kind of see where that goes, and then you should be able to notice difference. Variable rate shading, this one will help, and this one you do have to restart your game for it to actually notice it. So it's not like you just turn it on and then all of a sudden it's going to have a modified improvement there. I don't use frame generation on DLSS. Again, my graphics card doesn't really even support it because it's more for the 40 series. But again, these are mine. Texture resolution. This is one of the ones where it will make your clothing, like if you go low on this one, like we're playing a PS2 game. I know it's a extreme hyperbole, but at the end of the day, if you want your game to actually look good, despite a minimal difference in frames, normal is probably the way to go. You could go as low, but definitely do not go very low. You're gonna be playing Minecraft or something like that. So normal is a good way to go. Texture filter, anisotropic, I have that to high. This one doesn't have a huge impact on the actual frames. Depth of field off, this is so we don't get that blurry effect on our gun or the background, which that could be a problem just with visibility. Maybe in a campaign or something like that where you want to feel immersed and that's just an effect. But generally, most people just turn this off because in a competitive PvP setting, especially with strict skill-based matchmaking at times, you want to be able to see your target and you don't want any blurriness on your screen. Also, sometimes the depth of field, since it has to put a layer over your screen, it can cause issues where maybe you have frame drops anytime you're having that, and that can negatively impact it. So depth of field is just all around turn off. Another ad about the frame generation is even if I did have a 40 series card, I'd probably avoid this because this actually inputs more latency into your overall system, so that you'll feel like there's a little bit more delay because it has to generate those frames. That one is one I would generally avoid for PvP. In the open world, 4K, 8K, whatever, you're doing some crazy game where it's super intensive on graphics and that's what it's really about, the immersion, go for it. The input delays, marginal, you're not going to actually feel it because it's PvE. When you go into PvP, you're going to notice every millisecond when it comes to that one-on-one. So we have depth of field off, detail quality level low. This one's more of a marginal difference as well. You won't notice a ton of differences in game. Particle resolution, we have that one set to low, and that one's just generally going to help. Even though it's going to look way better, the inconsistency of the frame drops you'll get with explosions trying to animate all the effects can actually negatively impact those frames. So generally we go low on that. Bullet impacts, I have those on, but that one's 100% preference. Persistent effects, I have that completely off. And then shader quality, I have set to low. On-demand texture streaming, this one has a marginal difference on anything. And even though it can make your game look slightly better, sometimes it can lead to connectivity issues because you have to download that from the internet while you're playing, so it can add to some just connectivity problems. Local texture streaming, quality normal, even though it doesn't really matter. Shadow quality, we have this one set to normal. You could go to low on this one, but normal works perfectly fine. And then screen space shadows to low, and then everything else is pretty much off or low. And that's generally the way you would go because these ones aren't giving you the benefits for what you'd want, or they're actively hurting your visibility. Like this one, the volumetric quality, you're going to get the shadow and lightings coming in where it's just not going to be clear visibility where you need to be 100% accurate. For the view, we're going to actually actually jump in game so you can kind of see how this looks and what these are doing and kind of what my recommendations are. So here we are in Urzikstan, and we'll kind of go through the various settings. First off, we'll go ahead and kind of look at the FOV setting, which is probably one of the most important, and it really comes down to preference. The default on this is 80. If you go ahead and zoom in on this one, it's going to bring all the details in. It'll kind of have that weird effect. Generally, the most like consistent area where most people find comfort in is generally going to be between around 100.
If my 64-year-old mom can make $18,274 in just 59 days from this brand new side hustle,
up to 120, somewhere in the mix. I usually put mine right around 107. That one's preference. The one that else is preference here is affected. A lot of people go with that just because it helps with the recoil reduction, at least on the visual side. If I go ahead and aim down sight here and I go ahead and shoot this weapon, you can see when I aim down sight, the aim down sight doesn't zoom in that much. It kind of you just shoot straight, and that's kind of how that part works. If I go ahead and switch this to independent, what it'll do is it'll be like the ADS when I'm an 80 FOV. So you'll get much more zoom. So because you get much more zoom, you're able to get a little bit better target acquisition for things that are a little bit further. If a target was right here, they would appear larger on my screen. So it'd be a bigger hitbox essentially because they would be more zoomed in. But for a lot of people, they could feel like they're having a little bit too much zoom, and it gives a little bit more visual shake, which can lead to missing shots. So you kind of got to pick what makes most sense. Some people are just used to that. But in the end, I think inevitably most people generally lean towards affected because it gives you that less visual shake. The other part is wide weapon, the way that zooms out on that. And then we got third person view, 90, vehicle view, wide, motion blur off, weapon motion blur, film grain off, first camera, 50% shake, 50%, so we reduce those entirely. Third person ADS transition, not really all that important unless you're playing zombies. And then we got the spectator camera. You put it in game, but regardless, if you jump in a vehicle and you're spectating and the person jumps out, it'll switch to the head cam regardless. You'll have to press the right button to swap that out. Then we get into some of these other ones that get really interesting, and they have to do with the interface, and they're much easier to see in game when you go ahead and do these things. So we go ahead and go over here. We have a couple. Color customization is a huge one that I definitely recommend playing with, but I'll give you some recommendations, and then HUD bounce, which we'll jump into as well. So color customization, what we do is we go ahead and turn these to filter to, color, filter, target, both, and then we go ahead and juice that all the way to 100.
in the update app via game launcher. Love this game, dude. Like what like what? I'll be back. I'm gonna reset my whole system. I guess, dude. Shit's